Alright, tag me in, guys. It is time for the TLC 2011 review. Yes, indeed, one day late, holiday season being what it is. I was at a carol service last night, which was awesome. You know, go sing some nice, healthy, family-oriented, comfy, cozy Christmas carols, and then see people beat each other about the heads with various amounts of weapons. Now, before I continue, two of these matches were ruined for me before I got home. I left a message on my Facebook before I left saying, guys, I'm going to be out. I'm going to have to catch the replay of TLC around 11:30 or so. Please don't send me any spoilers. And nobody did. I got a couple messages saying, oh, this pay-per-view's not that great. But nobody sent me any spoilers. Unfortunately, I did leave my computer on, and when I walked into the room, there was Daniel Bryan shit plastered and Randy Orton shit plastered all over my news feed. So that's my own fault. So a little bit of the fun of this pay-per-view was taken out from me, but not so much that I can't say that this was one of the best pay-per-views of the year. Overall, in terms of overall direction of the WWE, this one's got to go hand in hand with Money in the Bank, doesn't it? Just as far as all the right things happening, all the right, my Fave 5 had a great night, for one thing. Great matches. And for a B pay-per-view, for a gimmick pay-per-view, that's pretty fucking good, especially to end off the year. So let's get into it. We started off, right off the bat, with one of the matches that I was looking most forward to, which was Ziggler versus Ryder. I think it's really, really funny that Vicky Guerrero's Twitter hashtag is excuse me WWE, but be that as it may. This was a great match overall. All I've got listed here is a list of some of the great spots in this match. Ziggler delivering a DDT to Ryder on the apron. Ryder with an inside out. I know the word, I just can't think of what the word is, but it's sort of a somersault suicide dive from the inside the ring to the outside of the ring. Ziggler, when he got back in the ring, hit a ridiculously aggressive barrage of elbow drops, and it sounds like an elbow drop is such a simple thing, but like the way he did them one after another, I'm thinking there was about 10 or 11 or so. Little spot that Ziggler did, stopped in the middle of the match and just randomly started doing push-ups for no reason. And people might think it doesn't make very much sense, but as far as I'm concerned, it's got to be a direct homage to somebody like Scott Steiner, who always stopped in the middle of his matches to do the push-ups and whatnot. So it made me mark out like a fiend, and I'm hoping that's actually what they were going for, and it wasn't just something lame. Ziggler pulled off an angle slam, which was, nice out of nowhere. Normally I give Ziggler the credit for having one of the greatest drop kicks in the WWE right now, but this one went to Ryder for a top rope drop kick. Vicky got ejected towards the end of the match. Ryder hit a super Hurricane Rana off the top rope on Ziggler, which, Ryder being sort of the more goofy guy, you don't expect him to have a big pop spot, do you? Double knee shot and a Rough Rider gets the win for Mr. Zack Ryder. So woo woo woo, you know it. And Cena, despite the dirt sheets, was not the referee for this match. So Ryder's, I'm gonna calm down because I'm running out of breath. Ryder's victory tonight meant so much more, and Ziggler did not lose anything by losing this match. Ziggler still looked like gold all the way through, even as far as, saying that the guy that got pinned is still one of the ones looking awesome in this match is pretty. It's a testament to Ziggler's in-ring work, the fact that he just lost a title and hasn't lost any steam in my eyes. Next, we have Booker T talking to Alicia Fox in the back, because I guess, Charmel's not in wrestling anymore, so we have Alicia Fox filling that void. He gets attacked by Cody Rhodes, and speculation abounds that their match is going to be canceled like it was on SmackDown. But, we're left to speculate whether that's actually going to happen or not. Air Boom versus Primo and Epico was a bonus match added, and this was another thing where it went around the dirt sheets, it was a rumor, and nobody ever actually confirmed it. But this was a pretty damn good match. I'm a fan of the High Flyers, so you got 4 High Flyers in there. Primo and Epico look like a team, don't they? Down to, they move the same, they have a lot of tandem offense, they've got the quick tags, they've got the team escort in Rosa Mendez. For a high-flying match, there was a lot of combined high-flying and technical style in the match, which I really, really liked. Epico had hit a triple belly-to-back suplex on I believe it was Evan Bourne, because Evan Bourne was the face in peril for most of this match, and when Kofi got the hot tag, he absolutely cleaned house, and eventually a Trouble in Paradise got the win for Air Boom, and Air Boom are still your tag team champions. But Primo and Epico, for their first real outing as a team, looked pretty fucking good. It's one of those times, and I know it's foolish, every time we get our hopes up about the tag team division, it gets squashed down again. But you've got Air Boom, you've got Primo and Epico, who look like a great team. You've got the Usos, who are a great team. You've got Rex and Hawkins waiting in the wings, waiting to be on mainstream TV. The tag team division is always in that potential of an uprising. It never happens, but we always feel the potential, especially when something like this gets thrown on out of the blue and is as good as it was. Moving on. Backstage shenanigans with Teddy Long dressed as Santa Claus and Hornswoggle being pissed off that he had to get dressed up as an elf. And Teddy Long gives him an Ebonics book for Christmas so he can talk more street, talk more smack, and not sound like an idiot. So he takes the book and then he kicks Teddy Long in the shin and steps on his foot and runs away, and Teddy Long's sitting there like, I'm gonna kick you in the Christmas ornaments, and it was very, very lame. Orton versus Barrett. Sorry about the interruption, guys. We're going to try that one more time. Orton versus Barrett tables match was 2 minutes of generic wrestling, a lot of generic brawling, and seemingly forever tries and fails to put somebody through a table. Once they got back in the ring, the only things really of note were the suspension DDT by Orton, which always looks great, the black hole slam, which gets better and better and better every time Wade Barrett does it, and the final spot being Barrett having Orton on a table ready to jump through the table to get the win, and Orton turns it at the very last second into an RKO, and Orton gets the win. Now, people aren't going to agree with the way that match ended. I'm going to address that a little bit later. We go back to Santa Teddy and the Bellas, and Teddy Long hitting on the Bella Twins, which was gross. We had bust-ins by Swagger, we had bust-ins by Sheamus, and Teddy Long, for no particular reason, makes Sheamus versus Swagger for later tonight. Next up, we had another bonus match, because there wasn't much on this card to go in, let's be honest. Beth Phoenix versus Kelly Kelly, and going through my head, I'm like, WWE's doing a great show so far, and they're gonna fuck it up by giving the Barbie doll the Barbie belt back. But no, bitch gets owned by Beth Phoenix. And literally, if you want to look at my board, I know you can't see it, but right under Kelly Kelly versus Beth Phoenix, I wrote bitch got owned. And then I decided to be more specific. Kelly Kelly hit a great looking spinebuster on, no she did not. Beth Phoenix hit a great looking spinebuster on Kelly Kelly, as well as an inverted electric chair to get the win after the Glam Slam was countered. The inverted electric chair looked pretty friggin' great, not something you'd expect from a modern-day Divas match. Beth Phoenix wins, she keeps the belt, makes me a happy kid. Booker T versus Cody Rhodes is supposed to happen. Booker T is attacked on the way to the ringside, and Rhodes leaves, and Booker T is helped to the back once again. Nash versus Triple H in the Sledgehammer ladder match. Now, lots and lots of brawling on the outside. Nash looks very slow. Triple H looks awesome. Triple H puts the figure 4 on Nash in the ladder in the middle of the ring, which does look pretty good. Triple H then does a series of suplexes, but he's not suplexing Kevin Nash. He's suplexing a ladder onto Kevin Nash, which I thought was... It's been done before in ladder matches, but it still looks good. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. To his credit, Nash did take one really, really nice bump in this. They were both on the ladder. He takes a face shot from the sledgehammer that's hanging above the ladder and puts himself through a table. It was kind of botchy, but, you know, considering I didn't think Nash was going to take any real bumps in this match, it was surprising to me. Triple H, of course, is the one to get the sledgehammer, wails on Nash for a while, and a pedigree and a hammer shot to the face gets Triple H the win. Any other result in this match would have been a travesty. You know, it would have been tantamount to, you know, Undertaker losing a casket match, anything along those lines. But it didn't. Moving on. Jack Swagger and Sheamus was absolutely nothing special, nothing of note at all, and Sheamus won the match. Moving on, Show versus Mark Henry was, there's two matches I'm going to say this about, and it's equally true in both. The tables match with Orton and Barrett did not drag as much as didn't drag out as much as I thought it would and as much as I was afraid that it would, and neither did this one here. As soon as the bell rings, Show is immediately outside the ring, chucking chair after chair after chair after chair in the ring at Mark Henry, and Henry's basically swatting them away, but eventually he walks out, says, "I'm done with this, you're crazy, this match isn't happening." Show stops him, and then it's chairs and fists and headbutts for everybody for the next 2 or 3 minutes or so. Mark Henry eventually starts attacking Big Show's hand, smashes it, you know, in the folding chair, smashes it against the steel steps, etc. Show, to his credit, I don't give Show credit for selling very often or ring psychology very much. He did sell the hand every time he tried to grab a chair, every time he tried to grab a choke, something like that. He sold that he couldn't do it because his hand was messed up. I like that. But at the end, he wins with the weapon of mass destruction punch, knocks out Mark Henry, gets the win. Show is the World Heavyweight Champion. Yay! For the first time in like 9 years or something, I think they said. Now, he's attacked by Mark Henry after the match. He's, you know, hit over the head with a chair and takes a massive DDT on a pile of chairs, knocking him out. So, Daniel Bryan, all of us, me, Mark Pearson, Deluxe Man, John, I think, anybody else that's a fan of real wrestling marks the fuck out. Bryan rolls over the unconscious Big Show, cashes in his Money in the Bank. Daniel Bryan is our new World Heavyweight Champion, guys. Oh yes. Everybody go over to Deluxe Man's channel and watch his markout video. Fucking amazing. That's all I'm going to say. There's nothing more that can be said about that, is there? Booker T versus Rhodes does actually happen. Booker T looks aggressive and has an amazing opening flurry, which is met by the aggressive nature of Cody Rhodes. Great back and forth. Both guys, neither one looked bad in this match, and you gotta look at this match as far as saying Booker T has still got it. Not to the same degree, but I do compare it to seeing The Rock in the ring again. We saw The Rock in the ring at Survivor Series, and everybody wondered, is there going to be ring rust? Is he still going to have it? Etc., etc., etc. Now, Rock's a huge name. Rock's a huger name than Booker T by anybody's stretch of the imagination, but you had to have the same kind of thoughts going into this match. Booker T looked friggin' great. Towards the end, he starts selling, you know, not being quite right, his equilibrium being a bit off, you know, and being a little out of sorts due to the 2 previous attacks earlier in the night. And with that in mind, 2 back-to-back beautiful disaster kicks from Cody Rhodes does get him the victory over Booker T. I like this because I like Cody Rhodes with the Intercontinental Championship. I like this because putting the Intercontinental Championship on a guy who at best is going to be wrestling part-time wouldn't make much sense. Booker T didn't lose anything by losing this match, in the slightest. You know, somebody with a sense of nostalgia, somebody with a sense of, you know, back in the day, would have loved to see Booker T win, and part of me would have too, but the bigger part of me knows that it wouldn't have made any sense. So, you know, you gotta be happy with this. You really, really do. Now, TLC, Miz, Punk, and Alberto Del Rio, aka the great matches you can have when Cena moves out of the way. Oh yes. The Punk chants were huge in this match. All the way through, they were sustained, they were unrelenting, and I love that. Typical story at the beginning, sort of Punk versus the World, double team, Miz and Alberto Del Rio trying to take out Punk. Alberto Del Rio and the Miz eventually do turn on each other, and the thing is, even though they both hate Punk, they're more aggressive when they turn on each other, and heel on heel is always a very, very interesting dynamic to watch, isn't it? As Miz and Alberto Del Rio are brawling on the outside, Punk hits an amazing suicide dive on Alberto Del Rio, while Alberto Del Rio is holding a ladder, so... You know, it was a nice little spot. It was a little messy the way they both fell, but it was still a nice spot. Miz back suplexes Punk in the ring. It was I'm guessing it was supposed to be his back landing on the chair, but it was the back of his head. And you could see the the dent in the chair, and they zoom in on it, and you know, it's for dramatic effect, but you got to think that's a guy's head in a chair. Even if it is a softer chair, even if it is a, you know, a tinfoil chair as they call them these days, it's still got to do something. Cole, to his credit, I don't give Cole credit very often, but he really brings to light the fact that not, you know, it's for the world title, so it's sort of new. It's the first triple threat title match of its kind, of the TLC kind, but all of these guys, and Michael, like I say, I hate to give Michael Cole credit, all of these guys have won Money in the Bank, and Punk has done it twice. So both of them should, in theory, have a pretty good sense of comfort on the ladders. Punk wears out the Miz like crazy with a chair, and then sets him up on the security guard railing and running knees him into the crowd. Nice little spot. Ricardo Rodriguez comes in, jumps Punk from behind, and cuffs him to a ladder while Alberto Del Rio tries to climb the ladder. Punk knocks the ladder over, knocking Alberto Del Rio off, and breaks the ladder. So not only is he free from the ladder, but he now has the cuffs to use as brass knucks. Thought that was a brilliant spot. It's not something we've really seen in a TLC or ladder match type situation, and I liked it, and it worked. Miz and Punk on the top rope, trying to suplex each other off, and Alberto Del Rio hits a step-up enziguri, launching Punk off the turnbuckle into a table on the outside. Another decent-looking spot. Punk can sell a bump, can he? Punk would sell you a bump for $10,000, and you would buy it. Yes, he would. Miz and Alberto Del Rio have an intense brawl up the aisleway, including Alberto Del Rio putting the Miz in the cross armbreaker through a ladder. Punk then comes back to, Alberto Del Rio then comes back to Punk, who's still laying in the wreckage of the table, tosses a chair on him and wails on him on a chair for a while, then puts him in the cross armbreaker through the chair. The psychology of Alberto Del Rio and how much, you know, just how much he's used to going to that one maneuver makes a lot of sense, that he keeps trying the same thing against both guys. You know, again, it's that sense of, if I was in Alberto Del Rio's shoes and you've got a move that works that much, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Punk and Miz do actually team up on Alberto Del Rio for a while, take out Alberto Del Rio, and brawl with each other for a while. Punk and The Miz should main event WrestleMania. Listen to me when I say this, because they are convincing, and Punk really elevates Miz's game a lot. Ricardo Rodriguez tries for the belt and ends up being tossed off and eating a table on the outside, and for an escort or for a little sidekick buddy to take a bump like that was really good. Miz and Punk brawl some more until Miz handcuffs Punk to the turnbuckle. Not the turnbuckle itself, but the bolt that holds the turnbuckle to the post itself. So he goes nuts while Miz and Alberto Del Rio race for the belt. Punk begins taking apart the turnbuckle. Punk takes apart the entire turnbuckle, frees himself, kicks both Alberto Del Rio and The Miz off their respective ladders, hops off, tosses Miz go to sleep, runs back up, gets his belt. CM Punk is still your winner, and I am a happy kid. Now, what do we say next? Let's check out, let's see how my Fave 5 is doing. Ziggler lost tonight, and that should be bad, right? It's really not. I can't take credit for this. I think it was John that said it. Ziggler is losing his way to the World Heavyweight Championship. Ziggler had to convincingly lose that US title before he could get back into the main event title picture, which I predict any day now. Ziggler is one of those guys in the top running to be the winner of the Royal Rumble this year, isn't he? It's gotta happen. It's either he's got to win the Royal Rumble or he's got to win Money in the Bank next year. That's the only way. That's the only way they can go with Ziggler. You know, this isn't a guy that's going to win a dinky #1 contenders match on Raw. He's going to either win Money in the Bank next year or he's going to win the Royal Rumble. Rhodes beats a veteran in Booker T, looks great doing it, and the story of him and Booker T lasted throughout the whole pay-per-view, which keeps Rhodes in all of our minds, makes him look strong, makes him come out looking like a champ. Miz lost tonight in the TLC match, but like I say, him being in the ring with CM Punk elevated his game immensely. Though he's not in my Fave 5, I can definitely say the same thing about Alberto Del Rio tonight. Orton looks strong over Barrett, goes out on top as far as 2011 pay-per-views go. Now, a lot of people, and it's the people that don't like Randy Orton, are going to say, oh, well, look at him, he buried Wade Barrett. Now, nobody can tell me with a straight face that Randy Orton hasn't spent the most part of 2011 down in the mid-card, making everybody he touches in the mid-card look like gold. You're telling me the WWE can't afford to toss him a win at the end of the year at a B pay-per-view? Come on. The guy needs something. You can't take him from being a world heavyweight champion at the beginning of the year to being a jobber at the end of the year. That doesn't make sense. He's been making everybody else look great. He deserved a win tonight. And Barrett will recover. Barrett didn't look weak in this match at all. It almost, the way the match was booked, it almost looked like Orton sort of squeaked out the victory. So Barrett didn't lose any steam. Don't worry, Barrett and the Barrett barrage are still coming on strong. And Punk, the team captain of my Fave 5, is still the man. Point blank. But, stepping out of my Fave 5, can we deny that the breakouts tonight were Mr. Zack Ryder and Mr. Daniel Bryan? Oh yes, like I said, Ryder went in, looked strong, had a great match. The first match of the night and the last match of the night tonight were great. Not to put down anything in the middle, but we started strong, we ended strong, and that is really... it's really the sign of a great pay-per-view. And I'm sorry, I hate to harp on this because I know you guys are all going to call me a bully, but there was no Cena on this pay-per-view. It can be done. Call this the social experiment. It can be done. We can have a pay-per-view. WWE will survive one night without John Cena, and tonight proved it. Tonight was a glorious fucking pay-per-view. Great wrestling. Both of the mid-card title matches were great wrestling. We had elements of great wrestling and great psychology and great submission, grappling, and whatever, even in the gimmick matches. That's awesome, isn't it? Whereas normally those matches would just be spot. Out of the blue, we had a great tag team match with a brand new emerging tag team and your established tag team champions. I don't do score, fail, and MVP for pay-per-views, but if I did, there's nothing I can fail on this show other than, the lame backstage moments with Santa Teddy. But if that's the only bad thing I can say about the pay-per-view, we're doing pretty damn good. We've got 7 champions that we can be proud of right now. CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Zack Ryder, Cody Rhodes, Air Boom, and Beth Phoenix. Tell me one of them doesn't deserve to be carrying gold, or more gold than they currently are. You can't. Everything is good right now. You've got 2 great in-ring wrestlers as your world champions. Granted, I would like to see them fight each other, rather than having them both hold, gold on different shows. But I'm not going to be picky. I'm not going to be selfish. It's fucking incredible. Zack Ryder had a breakout moment. He is going to rule the mid-card on Raw when Ziggler hits the world title picture. You can't deny that. Nothing else can really be said. This was a great pay-per-view. It continues the tradition of WWE having greater B pay-per-views this year than A pay-per-views. I don't know why. It's a little bizarre, but it's true. Look at it. Hell in the Cell was good. Elimination Chamber was good. Money in the Bank is the pay-per-view that everybody this year marked over. This pay-per-view will have people marking more than Money in the Bank. I guarantee it. Because this night, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Zack Ryder, this night was the night of the Internet Darlings. And I don't think anybody's going to complain about that. That's all I've got. I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Start a conversation. Subscribe up there, talk down there. I will talk to you later, and I am tagging out. Bye. Get up, come on,